Scott, what was your kind of earliest memories of playing football?
So obviously I grew up in Inverness, and then it was mainly, do you know what, my earliest memory is probably the primary school football. To be honest, we had a very good side. Obviously myself, Liam Polworth, Ryan Watson, Matthew Murphy, Paul Spence, Lyle Morrison, Gussie Day, who actually now plays with me at Nairn. It's funny how football works, but our primary school team was brilliant. And for primary 6 and primary 7, those 2 years, we were actually officially the second best and third best primary school team in Scotland, which is mad because at that age you don't really kind of think about that too much. But, when that's kind of plastered about in papers and stuff like that, it's quite surreal. So, no, obviously all of us kind of, we all ended up at Caley. And in that Caley squad as well, you could add in Ryan Christie, Gordie Hooker is a good mate of mine, Jamie Bennett. We had the coaches of Danny McDonald, Charlie Christie as well, Scott Kelliker. Obviously, these boys are still involved in football to this day. So here's one for you as well. I actually remember a primary school game. It was ourselves, Muirton Primary School in Inverness against Crown, another primary school from Inverness, and that's who Ryan Christie had played for, and Charlie Christie had coached them as well. And our goalkeeper at the time, Gussie, who's not actually a goalkeeper now, he plays centre midfield for Nairn, believe it or not, but he was unbelievable. I remember all these saves he was making, and I think we beat Ryan's team that day, and Charlie came over to Gussie at the end of the game, and he was like, "You're brilliant, this and that," and he actually asked Gussie if he fancied joining Caley with all of us. You should have seen him. He ran the length of this pitch about 100 times, arms in the air, because he's a big Caley supporter even now. So yeah. Just seeing him like that, he was ecstatic, So yeah, we had a good team, good primary school team, and then obviously into Caley as well, and we had a good team there too. So it was good.
Yeah. So what is it like at the kind of early stages in terms of the Caley youth setup?
I don't think it's like it is now. I think back then, obviously, we were still able to play our school football and stuff like that. But as the years went on, that wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. Now, for me, I enjoyed the school football. I just wanted to play as much football as I could, to be honest. And I don't know. I think it's still the same, but I just think nowadays that I think you should be able to play your school football. Mm. Yeah, some people say it's the best days of your life and that, but yeah, it's. I don't really kind of remember too much of the goings on when I was there, but it's not until kind of after you realise, like, at that age, you just want to be playing as much football as possible, to be honest. And I actually remember. So I was there for about 5.5 years, from like the age of 9 to 14, 15. And, I just signed a new deal with him, and I started to become in and out the squad. And I think we went down to Livingston away, and I think I'd only played about 10, 15 minutes. And I just decided that kind of enough was enough. You're at that age where you want to be playing, and like, my old man was pally with John Beaton. I don't know if you know John Beaton, but he used to be in charge at Caley in the younger age groups, and then he moved on to Clark. And at the time, Clark were getting rave reviews about their youth development and stuff like that. And I thought, do you know what? Maybe this is another option for me to try, because maybe things were getting a bit stale for me at the time. So I just kind of wanted to try something different, and that's what I did in the end. Obviously, like when I left, I had the chance to go to Ross County a couple of times, maybe, do you know what? Maybe it was because I was a ICT supporter. I never went. I don't know, but I just had it in my head that I didn't really want to go there, to be honest. And obviously that's when I decided to join Clark later on.
Yeah, so how did you find the adjusting to the Highland League? And
well, obviously, like the Highland League wasn't until a few years after, when I made my debut. But like Clark Youth, like I said to just there, I couldn't have asked for better coaches. Going through the youth development for a few years at Clark, John Beaton, obviously a very close family friend, and he's sadly not with us anymore. But obviously Gary Davidson helped them. They were like Ant and Deck. They were always together, and they were tremendous for me, and I'm sure all the boys would agree with me as well. But we had a great group of boys, and we would batter teams every week. Even going through to Bucky and teams like that. You were 10 plus some weeks, and you just remember scoring a barrel load of goals. And I just think, like, obviously with Clark as well, you were able to play your school football. And like I said, you just want to be playing all the time, and I think that's what helped me as a player. To be honest.
So just building up the experience in terms of more games and more situations you're putting yourself in.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was, don't get me wrong, I went away to Dublin and places like that with Caley, but with Clark, every year you seem to be away. We went down to Ayr for a cup. I think we played Everton in the final, and we beat them 5-4. We went away to Holland, Denmark. Holland was a good one because it was a semi-final, and we had a penalty shootout. And so we went over with the older age group 17s.
Yeah.
So, I was on the winning penalty, and the under 17s, the older age group, were watching us. I was shitting myself. Take that penalty, I was shitting myself, I just thought, if I miss this, like, it's all on me sort of thing. So obviously I scored, and then I just ran over to the group of boys, and everyone was just like piling on top of everyone. It was brilliant at that age as well. Like, it was superb. So I had a lot of good times in the youth at Clark as well for a few years, and then obviously that's when I went on to the first team. I got my debut at 17, I think it was, when Ian Pollard was in charge. So
So what do you remember about your debut? Do you remember much about that, or not really?
Do you know what? I think it was against Devon Vale at home, and I missed an absolute sitter. I remember the ball coming across the box, and I think it was maybe about 5 yards out, and I put the header over the bar. Pretty much an open goal. So that wasn't a great start to my debut. I wish it had gone a wee bit better. But, my first start was against Lossy, and I scored, and I got man of the match. And then obviously I thought kind of things would kick on from there. But it's funny because managers, even now, they've got their favourites and stuff like that, and sometimes your face just doesn't fit. So, I thought, right, I would give that a good go in pre-season with Clark. And it's funny because, see pre-season in the Highland League and stuff like that, you've got to work hard. You have to, at that level as well. I only kind of appreciated that as I got older, because I kind of do wish now, when I was at Caley, and I maybe tried that bit harder to get fitter. Because obviously you look at my mates now, like obviously look at Poley now, he obviously went on to Motherwell and Kilmarnock, and obviously look at Ryan, he's in the Prem now, stuff like that. And there's, like, I touched on Ryan Watson before, Matty Murphy, they obviously went full time, and they worked hard. And I just wish that maybe, things might have been different if I had as well. So no, pre-season with Clark, I just thought that, I'll try and give this a good go and kick on. Because I got myself to a good fitness level, and and yeah, put in a lot of work.
Yeah. So why do you think it didn't work out? Was it kind of what you were saying in terms of face didn't fit, or kind of did it just not click, or kind of?
Do you know what? Maybe it's a tough one. That probably, I can say it now, but like maybe my face didn't fit. My old man's good mate. Well, he obviously played with Ian, and you thought that maybe that would have helped things, but it never in the end. And I went on loan to Fort William for a month.
Yep.
From Clark, and the Fort William squad was good at the time. There was boys like Sean Ellis, Kenny McKenzie, Callum McLean, who obviously two players that I play with now at Nairn. So yeah, we'd played 3 games. Well, I played 3 games, and who was against Bucky, Keith, Strathspey. Is that right? Yeah. And obviously I'd scored 3 and 3. So, I done well, and obviously I showed kind of what I can do. And the Bucky game, I'll never forget, obviously, because that was my debut for Fort William, and I scored a screamer. I must have been about 25, 30 yards out, and it's funny because 5 minutes before I'd scored, I'd done the same thing. I seen the keeper off his line, just didn't, maybe, I don't know, about 40 yards out, and I tried to lob him, and the keeper just caught it, and then I was getting the manager was going mental, and the players were like, "Oh, what are you doing this?" That do you know what? Thing I scored, so it didn't stop me from trying that again, that's for sure. But no, that was when, who was in charge of Bucky at the time? It was Gary Hake.
Yeah.
Is that right? Gary Hake.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's done well at Cove. He was at Cove with Paul Hartley and stuff like that, and he's done well there. So, because he lost his job, I think, the Monday after, and people were texting me, winding me up, saying you lost Gary Hake's job and stuff like that. So, but no, that was a great experience, just even being alone there for the 3 games. And so, obviously, when I went back to Clark, it was funny. Fort William, so we'd won the 3 games in a row, and I think that was unheard of for Fort William to win 3 games in a row.
Yeah.
So I went back to Clark, funnily enough, Clark's next game was against Fort William at Grant Street, and Fort William beat them 2-1. And I only got 5 minutes. So obviously I'd gone there and done well on loan, scored a few goals.
Yeah.
And I got 5 minutes when I got recalled back, so, because I think we tried to extend it, and I don't think Ian was having it. So when I got the 5 minutes, I kind of just said to myself, look, this is, I've gone out and done well. What chance have I got if I'm coming back and I'm only getting 5 minutes? So yeah, I just kind of felt after that I needed to move on. And obviously the manager at the time of Fort William, I think it was Callum McLean. And Ali Ewan was his assistant. I don't know if you remember Ali Ewan.
Yeah. Because he went on to manage them later on, I think.
Yeah. And lost him. So he's actually a good pal of mine now. So he was always kind of getting on at me like you can't be sitting on the bench, blah blah blah. What's what use are you going to get out of that? And always kind of texting me, desperate for me to sign for him. So I just kind of tried to push it. And Clark were kind of playing funny games at the time. So obviously my dad knew how much football meant to me at the time and how much I wanted to play football. And he kind of had a wee quiet word with Ian, I think, shall we say. And, after that, things, we got the deal done with Fort William. And, yeah, like I said, it doesn't really bother me. All I want to do is be playing football. And, if you're good enough, then you'll always kind of reap the rewards, shall we say, sort of thing.
Yeah. So what is it like behind the scenes at Fort William, and obviously for yourself traveling? Because where were you based at the time when you were playing for Fort William? Were you?
Well, I'm an Inverness boy, so
yeah.
So yeah, do you know what? Ali was quite good with me. so he would train twice a week down there, but I would train once down there and then once up here.
Yeah.
So even though I'm Inverness as well, but he was just football daft as well, so he didn't really care. But with work and that at the time, I couldn't get off early enough to go down the road to train. So, but behind the scenes there, it was okay. Like, I actually think that the club was, it's nothing like it is now. And do you know, I don't think myself and all the boys that were involved at the club at the time, staff, committee, I don't think that they get the recognition that they deserve. I think nowadays it's all about Fort William being the worst team in the league or Britain or whatever it is. But it's they're doing this. Sorry, they're doing this like the BBC documentary, and I'm hearing that there was a Netflix documentary in the pipeline as well and stuff like that. And surely, Ali took them, or Callum and Ali took them to their highest ever league finish. I think it was 13th or 14th, if I remember. So, yeah, I just think nowadays they've just totally, I don't know, we don't get the recognition we deserved.
Yeah, do you feel like they're an easy target in terms of kicking them when they're down at times? Would it be fair to say Fort William in general as a club?
No,
just general, because just.
Do you know what? Yeah, probably. I think even when I was there, though, it was always, you could tell teams were coming. I was like, Fort William, we're going to pump them today. But I think, obviously, we did make things hard for teams when we played against them, because we did have, a decent squad. Like, we had, obviously, myself, Ian McClellan, Big Farker McRae, Ali Stark, Stephen Rennie, some boys on loan from Caley as well at the time, and Adam Porritt. So, like, it was a good team, and I always said it when I was there, that we should never be a team that finishes bottom of the league. And like, it's just like, I just had that always going through my head, and I think that's kind of what kind of pushed me on to obviously score as many goals as I did, to be honest, because I didn't want to be that person that was sitting bottom of the league. Yeah.
So how important was that season in terms of scoring that amount of goals?
Do you know what? It was kind of beyond my expectations. Obviously, you always have figures in your head of what kind of you want to score and stuff like that. And I got to, I think I remember saying to Ali, I think it was on 20 at the time, and I was like, we're not stopping here, sort of thing. I need to get to 30 now. So I was just so hungry for, like, people probably told you before, but like, once you get in amongst the goals, they just don't stop. Like, every bounce of the ball just falls your way. Like, you can shoot from anywhere, and it's in the back of the net, stuff like that. So try anything and it's in the back of the net. I remember scored a couple against Cove at home, and like a free kick from about 30 yards out, and right in the top stance. And Cove, the Cove Twitter page, like, direct messaged me saying, like, you're unbelievable, and that, and that was nice to hear, because obviously not many club accounts do that, or social media accounts would do that, would they? So it's like stuff like that, when you're banging them in, everyone wants to kind of be your pal. But no, that season I got 30. Obviously, I worked hard in pre-season, and we had a couple of good tests in pre-season. We went away to Alloa, which was a good experience, because Jack Ross was the manager at the time.
Oh yeah,
and I had Jim Goodwin marking me. Armband on everything. I was like, here we go, because I'd heard a lot about him and how he was this fiery character and stuff like this, and he's going to leave one on me and that. But do you know what? He was brilliant, because he got the crack. He was brilliant throughout the whole game, because he was laughing and joking with you. And I know it was a pre-season game, but even still, I think that's brilliant, because there's so many bad words. Well, there was so many bad words said about him as a player. So now stuff like that, and as well, we only got beat 3-0. So. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's a good experience, and we went away to East Kilbride as well. They were a good side. They were well drilled. I think they beat us 6-2, but I played well then and I scored as well and I was feeling good. So going into the season, I was kind of very optimistic about how things would go for me and for the club. So, yeah, obviously hitting the 30, I think it was 30 and 34 is what I got, which is not a bad return at all, to be honest. So getting to the North of Scotland Cup final, that's unheard. Williams side as well, which I don't think gets spoken about enough either.
Yeah.
But, like I said, we don't get the recognition that we deserved and unheard of for a player from Fort William, well, from Inverness, but playing for Fort William to get to 30 goals. I think the last player to do that was Callum McLean, obviously ex-manager. I think I'd heard that he was a good player in his day, so yeah, it's nice to be up here with him.
Yeah, you're probably still top scorer at the moment.
So I will be forever, I think.
Yeah. In the Highland League, maybe.
I think who tipped me to the top goal scorer? I think it was John McLeod that year, was it? Or was it Mitch? I can't remember.
I think it might. I'm trying to remember. It would be one of them.
I think it might have been. I think it was Mitch, if I remember rightly, from the Highland League Awards. Maybe not. I can't remember.
But, so in that season, who would you say were your toughest opponents in terms of defenders and kind of people?
Season.
Defenders.
Obviously Eric Watson. I have to add him in because just like you kind of heard so much about him as well, but it's funny because obviously when you are scoring goals, you're always going to be talked about in the opposition changing him, like you got to try and stop him, this and that. So I got a few kicks and bumps and bruises along the way. So no, obviously Eric Watson. There's like obviously Darren Caley, Chopper from Locos, Colin Williamson, Brora. Obviously, I played with him as well. Colin's one of the dirtiest I've ever come across, I'll be honest. But elbows, knees, everywhere. Honestly, I'm just
VAR.
I wish.
Yeah.
Have a season ban if you're VAR.
I was going to say, someone once mentioned to me if VAR was introduced in the Highland League, there would be umpteen red cards per game.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. No, but I'm sure you kind of you like those sort of challenges in terms of, head to heads in terms of defenders, because it kind of
100%, because I feel like it totally ups your game, because it just pushes you to be better playing against these good players who have season pros, shall we say, some of them. So it's like, yeah, I love all that, and even now I still enjoy playing against big defenders. I don't really care, to be honest, who they are, but yeah, playing against these guys, you always have to up your game. So it's always going to make you a better player.
So in terms of after your time at Fort William, obviously you went on trial to Caley, and it didn't really work out due to injury. Kind of how do you reflect on that time? And it must have been difficult in terms of yourself.
Yeah, it was, to be fair, because, well, I had basically, obviously, after that season had finished, after North of Scotland Cup final, running up to that game, leading up to that game, obviously people had been in contact already asking what my plans were and this and that, but I just told them that I wanted to get the cup final out of the way. But most of the boys from that squad, and obviously the manager included Ali, we were all moving on. Ali went to Lossy, and other boys were maybe going away for uni or stuff like that, So, but I just kept telling people as well that, I'm going on holiday. Let me go on holiday with my mates to Tenerife and let me enjoy things. So, yeah, I was obviously I went to Tenerife, and I remember I was there. I must have been a few days in, and I got a phone call from Danny McDonald, who obviously was at Caley at the time, and Danny's brilliant. I've got a lot of time for Danny. I've known him for years because, like I say, he was a coach when I was there when I was younger. And I got a phone call from Danny, and he asked me if, like, obviously, if I'd be interested in coming into Caley for pre-season that, and obviously I couldn't say no. Like, you know, a club I kind of grew up supporting. Obviously, my dad has close connections there. He played for Inverness, Thistle, and Caledonian and stuff like that. So, yeah, I actually thought he was winding me up, to be honest. Because it's not every day that you kind of think that, you know, you're going to get a phone call from Caley Thistle. So I actually remember as well. Well, Danny told me that Scotty Kell would be in touch with times, arrangements, and what the plans were for me, etc. So that night, I think it was, we were out in Tenerife, and I met up with Ryan Christie and Callum Ferguson. You know Callum?
Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah.
So I'm getting your usual chit chat, and Ryan actually asked me. He was like, "So what's the plans in that for next season?" I just played everything. I just played them, and I remember obviously when I did obviously go in for training and stuff like that, and the news kind of broke out. They were like, they were giving me a bit of abuse for not. Why didn't you tell us this and that? And I was like, you know what? I just didn't want. I don't know. I just didn't want to tell anyone. Obviously, I was excited, but I only obviously told the boys that I was on holiday with and my dad, because I knew how much it would mean to my dad as well for that to happen. So yeah, it's going in there. Obviously, I was kind of nervous as hell, but obviously, I just kind of embraced everything. And pre-season was tough going old school. Hill running, but you know, that's the fittest I've probably ever been, and you know, I didn't really feel out of my place. So the first game, I think, was Forest. First pre-season game was Forest away, and I'd been given the number 9 jersey, and buzzing, you know, obviously nervous, but buzzing as well. And number 9 jersey up top with George Oakley, and he in on trial as well. So what a feeling for me personally to pull on the jersey. But like, you know, I don't really get nervous, but you know, for the first 10 minutes, I was shitting myself. But anyway, I was playing well. Probably should have scored 2 or 3. Missed like stupid chances. And then the second half, and the ball came across the 18-yard box. I've taken a touch onto my left foot. I've gone to hit it, and like as I've followed through, the defenders come in with studs up, and I've hit his studs as well. But like, obviously that's happened, and then I'm on the ground in a heap, and like I just knew, and like I'd never broken a bone before, but I just knew. I could hear John Robertson shouting at me like, "Scotty, get up! You're all right, get up!" And I got up, and like I just couldn't wait there at all. I just hit the deck again, and I was like, "Nah, I can't." And obviously straight to hospital, straight into the X-ray department, still with the kit on. And then that's when they told me that I'd broken my metatarsal in my foot. So yeah, kind of absolutely gutted, to be honest. But you know, from then on, things, you know, for me anyway, things, you know, didn't look great. So, you know, because at that level, you know, any moment out, you're always going to find it hard to get back and show them what you can do.
Yeah. So how long did you take to recover from that injury?
So that must have been the end of June, July. So I was in there till about late October time.
Yeah.
Now, mid-October, yeah. So do you know what? They were brilliant with me, because they actually said to me that, hey, you can stay in here. We're going to get you back fit again. And then obviously come the end, like when you're back to fitness, we'll do what we can to have another good look at you and that, blah, blah, blah. So, they put me through all the rehab. It was good as well because I think Gary Warren was out injured as well at some stage. And, he would come in the gym with me and we would go out together and do extra runs and stuff like that. So all the boys there were brilliant. Even when I wasn't injured, it was a great group of boys there. And, Caley with your Brad Mackay and boys like that. So, yeah, no, I still text Gary Warren now and again. I actually tried to get him to come in there, but obviously that didn't happen. There's a wee bit gutted about that. But yeah, no, it's the time came obviously when I did get back to fitness and I went in to have a chat with John Robertson, and
I'm not sure I understand.
He asked me what I was thinking and what I wanted to do, and I just said to him that I needed to go out and play. Obviously, I wasn't working; I needed some sort of income in again because I'd left my job to do this, to come in and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, So I had to do it, and I just said to him that I felt like I needed to go out and play and get some money in again, and he totally understood that, and fair play to him. He actually said to me, look, well, you can stay here for as long as you need to until you find a job, whatever. It's entirely up to yourself. So I did go home and I spoke to my dad about things, and we just said, look, because I'd said my piece, like, we thought it'd be better maybe just kind of parting ways. Look, I was gutted, but football's a funny game, and maybe it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. So have you ever had our opportunities to go to like our clubs or trials in terms of clubs?
Full time or?
Yeah, full time. Yeah, full time. Yeah,
full time. Do you know what? I don't think I've ever told anyone this, but this must have been maybe before I went to Brora. I know a boy down the road, and he was trying to get me in with Gateshead. So obviously they were confident, and down in England, and but they were keen to get me in, but they just gone into or come out of administration or something like that. So I don't think things were looking great for them. So that obviously never materialised in the end. But no, not really. Not really any other full time opportunities. It's funny because up here, I think full time opportunities are scarce. I don't think see if you're down the Central Belt and that you've got a lot of clubs to choose from. Yeah. You can actually get your name out there a wee bit more. And obviously, I'm not saying it doesn't happen up here, because it does. Because obviously, when Brora were going through their good spells, winning the leagues and stuff like that, they had boys linked with English League One clubs and stuff like that. So it does happen. But I just think I think you've got a better chance if you're down in the Central Belt for that.
Yeah, it's just about putting yourself in the shop window. It's kind of
yeah. I do know as well at the time when I was there, obviously Kev, when I was at Caley, Kev Fraser was in as well.
Oh yeah.
And I think they did try to sign Kev, but obviously things happened there, and it didn't materialise in the end. I know obviously Mitch was mentioned as well, but it's difficult because why would boys, want to leave their full job, the money on the full time job and money in part time football to go less at full time? It's a difficult. Aye, so it just depends how into the how keen on your football you are, but it's I don't blame these boys for not taking it on.
Yeah, and especially when you think, sometimes you're only getting offered a year deal, which is not really sustainable, in terms it's not giving you like enough security in terms of what you're doing next. So it's kind of a hit, you need to hit the ground running basically as soon as you go in. So in terms of, obviously you went went to Rothes next. How did that move come about, and was there any other kind of options in the Highland League that you had of going into?
Yeah. So obviously, I had Brora, I had Vicky, I had Elgin, I had Jim Weir on the phone, I had for Martin, I had Tariff. I think, who else would I have? Who else did I have? Nairn as well. I had plenty of options, and do you know, it's not easy, believe it or not, because your head's just scrambled. Your head's all over the place. What's the best thing for you? This and that, and like obviously, Stephen McDonald Biscuits was the manager at Rothes at the time.
Yeah.
He used to be my next door neighbour as well, so I knew him personally. And so he would drop the kids off at Lindsay's, and then I would always have this knock on the door at night, like, what? And he'd come in and he's like, "What are you doing?" This and that. So he always made an effort with me, and he was just so keen to sign me, and he talking to me about the club and the plans he had for me and players incoming, etc., like that, etc. So we had obviously Dale Gillespie at the time, Dan Moore, Jamie Daff came in, very good players who played at a good level as well. So for me, it just seemed like the right fit at the time.
Yeah. So how was your time at Rothes? How did you find
that? I enjoyed it, to be honest. Let's say a good group of boys there, and it took me a few weeks to get going, just obviously after the injury and stuff like that. But then I picked up form. I scored 2 good goals away to Keith. A free kick, one of them as well, and just kind of from then on, once you get on the board, that's after that, they just keep coming. So it's amazing what a bit of confidence can do to you. So yeah, just kicked on from there. I think I finished on 16 goals. Obviously came in November, start November, whatever it was, and I think I scored 16 goals. So yeah, again, I got a full pre-season with Biscuits and Rothes, and again, he's old school with his pre-season. He just likes to run you. If not, he's just going to shout and ball at you. So, yeah, I think we could have done a lot better with the boys that we had there, and first, I think it came to December, and I think it was 9 or 10 goals, and probably should have had more, to be honest. The amount of chances, I'm always so hard on myself. Like, I should be scoring more than I should be, But so I think I was on it must have been about 25 goals or something at the time, all in, which wasn't a bad return. 25 and 30 odd appearances, but you're always going to score goals with Dale, Dan, Jamie Wilson, Craig Cormack, Ando, Stephen Anderson as well, good player. December came, and we were talking about new deals and stuff like that, and I remember meeting up with Rothes and chatting away to them about things, and then a week later, I think I got a phone call from Brora asking if I would be interested in going up there. And this is a difficult one. Like I said, obviously in the past, because I'd done well and that teams had come in, and Brora had already been in for me a couple of times before.
Yeah.
I think Grant Monroe was in charge the first time.
Yeah.
With Biscuits as assistant, I think. And then Ross Tokley when he was in charge as well. And I turned it down, obviously. So I just felt this time that I couldn't say no. And then obviously they wanted to push it through ASAP, because obviously I had 6 months left in my deal, and they just asked me if I'd be keen to go now, and I was like, well, at the time I think Brora were 3 points behind Cove with a game in hand.
Yeah.
So there was a potential there to win the league. And obviously, that's kind of all I want is to win the Highland League. So, yeah, I just couldn't say no, and it's a chance I just didn't want to miss out on. Football's a short career, so obviously a few I don't think a few of the boys at Rothes were happy, but I'm afraid I'm sure they would have done the same thing if they were in my shoes.
Yeah, so in terms of, like, obviously you had a lot of characters in that Brora changing room. Who were kind of the biggest characters that you played alongside?
Biggest characters, the whole squad, honestly. It's Craig Campbell, Joe, Dale Gillespie. Dale Gillespie's one actually who he always says to me, winds me up. He says, I got you your move to Rothes up the Brora, so you better thank me and all this sort of stuff, So he always winds me up about that. But it's the whole squad really, because I don't know, we were all kind of quite close to one another, and brilliant club, honestly. And I'm obviously gutted that how things ended there, but when I first came in, they were all winning games, and it took a while for me to get in, which is fair enough. But I was kind of chomping at the bit, and obviously Dale, Joe, Gav Morrison, Martin McLean, Ali McDonald. These are all players, in my opinion, who could have played at a higher level.
Yeah, especially
Joe. Joe's the best keeper in the league, in my opinion. You'll probably say Kevin Main because you're from down that way, but it's. I just think Joe's been a standout for years, and he could probably still play higher, but it's. I remember, I think it was a week or two after I signed, and we had a home game. We were home to locals, and obviously, like I said, we were 3 points behind Cove at the time, and Cammy had come off the bench and scored a late winner, 91st minute winner, and what a buzz. I think Joe ran the length of the park. I'm pretty sure I was the first one there, and I was the unused substitute. So, that just showed you how together we were, and that was only I was only a few weeks into it, but some people go to clubs and they'll kind of just shy away from all the banter and getting involved, and because it's not easy sometimes. Yeah. I just felt like I wanted to prove myself in this squad, and I just wanted to get involved with everything. So yeah, that kind of settled me in nicely. And I remember, I think we went out that night or the week after, and Gav Morrison was saying that he got a message off Neil Gould, obviously a wee bit bitter about the result. He was like, I thought you boys won the league last weekend, or something like that, So, but no, that's just shows you how close we were. And so, yeah, it's, I've got a funny story for you about a midweek game I had at Brora, and I can't remember who it was against, but all day I'd had a dodgy stomach, shall we say. So I think before the game I was on the toilet about 4 or 5 times. It must have been the bowl of fruit or something I had the night before. I don't know. I don't know what to blame it on, to be honest. But I remember it was like 15, 20 minutes to go in the second half, and I was close. It was close to being a Gary Lineker moment. And I was just like, right, I need to get off here. So I think I shouted Cammy or Sid, and I was told I need to go. I need to go straight down that tunnel. So the next minute, they obviously take me off straight down the tunnel, and obviously the rest is history. So that's it. It was an embarrassing moment. I was getting the piss ripped out of me as soon as the boys came in the changing room after the game. So, yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I think, again, I always keep tallies of how many I score and stuff like that. I think I scored 14 there, and again, should have been a lot more. said it was hard on me because he said I should have had more too, and I do firmly agree with that as well. But yeah, great group of boys there. Very pally with them. Some of them now, Tammy, Joe. But yeah, I just feel maybe that I wasn't given a fair crack at the whip. But that's football, and obviously you never know what can happen in the future.
After that, you went to Nairn. I remember reading you said you were speaking about your to your dad about your next move, and you didn't really want to leave Brora, but you wanted to play games. How tough was that in terms of making that decision?
Very tough, because like I say, do you know what? That's probably one of the toughest decisions I've had to make in football, is leaving Brora, just because of the side that we had, how close the boys were. Just a winning side, and obviously I want to be a part of a winning team. Yeah. I want to win, and obviously I did win the North of Scotland Cup with them against Caley, which was a great achievement for the club against a strong Caley Thistle side. But I was looking obviously for a move away because the game time was lacking. Like I say, I don't think I was given a fair crack at the whip, but obviously said at the time would maybe disagree with that, but. It's I just, like I said to you before, I just want to be playing every week. I could have stayed at Brora for another year and a half, but you need to be playing, because at the end of the day, you're not going to make a name for yourself sitting on a bench. So go out and play, do well, and the success will always come back to you, and that's something that that my dad has drilled into me as well. So yeah, after we kind of had a chat about that, it was kind of an easy decision for me to, well, not easy, but it was the right decision for me to leave. And then obviously with Nairn had kind of been in contact. They'd noticed I wasn't kind of playing, and they got in touch with Brora asking if they could, speak to me, and I just liked everything that they had to say. I knew from the past that from boys that had been there, how good a club it was, and you're well looked after on and off the pitch. So that was it, really. That was how that came about.
Yeah. So how have you found your time? It must be weird being one of the slightly older players when you're not that older, but you know what I mean.
I'm not really that old, am I?
No. No, but you know what I mean, and going from...
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, because there's a lot of, obviously, over Nairn there's a lot of youngsters coming through and stuff, and obviously you've got you, in terms of experienced players, and then you've got Geffins, which is quite funny saying in the same sentence in terms of ages. But...
Obviously, we've got, myself, Gordy McNabb now again, he's back.
Yeah.
But great player, Gordy. We've got Chubbs. Chubbs has been about, and he's in the business, at other clubs, and maybe Adam Porritt as well. He was, Ross County, Brora, got the bad injury. He was at Fort William with me as well. So there is experience in there, and it is, to me, I do always say it, like it is a good young squad, and hopefully with a few more additions, maybe a bit of experience in there as well. We can kind of get inside that top six, but it's not going to be easy now, because, like we spoke about earlier, the league's just getting more and more competitive, and we've obviously still got Brecon in the league. You've got Banks D coming in as well, and it's not going to be easy. But the last couple of years we've finished 7th and 8th, so we'll certainly give it another good go.
Yeah, and I think it was it last season or maybe the season before, you went on a good run and got a couple of decent wins. You beat Brora, you drew with Fraserburgh. So how important is that, and also in terms of keeping these players together? Because obviously there's been times in the past you've got like teams, I'm trying to think of teams off the top of my head, like your Clacks probably had your guys like Brindo and stuff all at the same time, and then they kind of went elsewhere. How important is it to keep all that players together? as kind of long as possible in terms of, taking it to the next level.
Oh, vitally important. But if players are doing well, it's like it's never going to be easy to keep a hold of these boys. Obviously, we had Max Ewan.
Yeah.
He's a brilliant young player, and it's you can't fault him for going to Verona, because I did it, and I said that to him. These chances might not, they don't really come around very often. So like, you got to take it whilst it's there. And I mean, it's like Tom McLennan and Cohen. Obviously, the two of them have gone to Bucky.
Yeah.
If we kept them, then who knows? But yeah, no, it is important. But at the same time, it's not easy when the bigger clubs come in and poach these boys.
Yeah. So in terms of yourself, obviously, pre-season coming up, how are you kind of feeling ahead of that? And what can you give maybe a bit of insight in terms of what pre-season is like for yourself?
So obviously, this is me just coming back. We came back last Saturday, so I trained Saturday, Tuesday, Thursday. Missed obviously Saturday session there because of a wedding, but yeah, I've not played football in 8 months because I had a operation on my knee, so just to remove a keyhole, to remove some cartilage, so that was just bothering me for a while. So the club were good with me, during all that, and they kind of looked after me as best as they could. But in terms of pre-season, yeah, there's plenty running as expected. Obviously, that's, I think you need to be running in pre-season. Like, some managers may be against it or that, and they'd just rather have the ball out and stuff like that. But I just think, pre-season, you have to be running, and it just sets you up, for the season ahead, really. And yeah, hopefully, we're looking sharp in training. It's good because Gethin's actually organised a Strava group, for all the boys to kind of put in their results from the running and that. And I think a few of them kind of did that. And yeah, speaking to Sharpie and Mike, the assistant, they're happy with how things are going at the moment.
So looking, obviously you played in a lot of Scottish Cup games. Is there any kind of games you've been involved that you got good memories about in terms of time?
Do you know what? Obviously, there's not many away. I wish there was more away trips, good away trips. We played, obviously, with Rothes. We played EduSport Academy.
Oh, yeah.
Down at Galabank in Annan. That's where they played their home games. And they were a very good side, to be honest. We drew 1-1, but we probably should have came away from there with a victory. But, that was a good... We obviously travelled down the night before and stuff like that, and that was good. Greenock Morton with Brora.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a good experience as well.
Yeah.
1-1 there. And again, I also think that, we could have snatched a victory there too. But, yeah, no, not many. The Scottish Cup, brilliant. I love playing the Scottish Cup. You always kind of look forward to the fixture, what fixture being released for that. But, especially getting on the score sheet. But, you see a few years ago when John McLeod, for an example, I think he was top goal scorer in the Scottish Cup, or one of them.
Yeah. It was him.
I remember seeing on the big screen, like, top goal scorers, John McLeod, Bucky Thistle. It's mad. Honestly, stuff like that. That's like something I look at and I could be like, I wish, you kind of do, you wish that was you. Your name plastered in front of like 50,000 people at Hampden. You know what I mean? So it's it's a boy from Inverness playing in the Highland League, top goal scorer, beating boys, that play for your Celtic and Rangers. It's just crazy. But But yeah, it's I wish there was kind of more. I'm sure there will be in the future, but I wish I had more stories from Scottish Cup ties.
Yeah, so your targets for this season is a couple of away days and to be top scorer of the competition.
Top scorer as well.
Highland League, yeah. Is that
no? Do you know what? For me this year, like Nairn's been stop-start. Just with me having a few niggly injuries and COVID as well.
Yeah.
I just want to have get back to doing what I do, score goals, help the team, and just kind of enjoying it again. Because, like, I think, this last season, I only played a handful of games. So, as long as I can get through this season unscathed and scoring goals along the way, I'll be delighted.
Yeah. Last few questions. So, who would you say has been the best player you've played with so far? Would you say
best player I've played with? What in each position, or
I would just say overall. Oh. Is that a tough?
It's going to have to be Ryan Christie, isn't it? He's in the English Premier League now, so. Or do you mean Highland? Do you mean?
No, I just mean generally. So Ryan Christie. So what was he?
Even at a young age, you could tell that Ryan was going to go far. Just he was lightweight, but like it was, I don't know, just everything, his movement, and obviously having Charlie there as well. He was obviously our coach at Caley as well at the time, and Charlie was always pushing Ryan, to do that bit more, and he was always a lot more aggressive with Ryan. So he you could tell that he just wanted Ryan, to go far and just, to be better than everyone. But yeah, I would have to say Ryan, but obviously, I have played with good players in the Highland League. There's your Dale Gillespie's, Martin McLean's, Joe Mallon, like Gordy Morrison at Clark. I need to add Gordy, and Gordy's been good with me. Gordy's brilliant with me when I was at Clark, and even now, obviously he's a referee now and stuff like that, which is mad as well. Never thought I'd see that. But even Jordan McRae, like George, obviously proven how good a player he is, and there's a few. But if we're talking overall, and I'd have to say Ryan, obviously, if he's a Premier League player now. So
yeah. So do you still keep in touch with him and all the other guys from Caley days? Yeah.
So Ryan, every now and again.
Yeah.
I've had people messaging me like, "God, can you message Ryan and get me a signed top and stuff like that?" And I'm like, no. Like, obviously I know Ryan, right? But he's been away for so long and stuff like that, and I can't just message. That's not me. I wouldn't do that anyway. But obviously Liam Polly, I still speak to every few weeks and that. But he's obviously down the road now. But when he's home, we always meet up for a coffee or lunch or dinner or whatever. So yeah. Yeah,
so you're not trying to get some Bournemouth tickets?
You know what? I've thought about it. I've thought about just going down for a wee holiday down there and maybe text him and say, "Look, I'm down." And I'm sure he would, but you
don't want to be that person. I mean, there's plenty of people who do it. But it's probably one of those things with Fitba. It's a bit difficult to do when you're pals with people who play at a higher level. It's kind of people wanting to speak to them because they know you, or when for you they're just pals from Caley days or stuff. So so do you still have ambitions in terms of? Do you still feel like you could go full time still, or what's kind of what are you thinking? No.
You never say never to these things, do you? Because obviously you look at these fairy tale moves that you get like down south. Even Shane Sutherland. Look at Shane now. He's obviously full time at Cal. I think is he early 30s? Is he maybe?
I think so.
Or late 20s, early 30s. So he's gone back full time, stuff like that. It can happen, but I'm not kind of looking that far ahead, to be honest. Like I say, I just want to get back to doing what I do and get myself fit and scoring goals again. I think I've got 22 goals to reach 100 in the Highland League. I think, not that I'm counting.
Yeah. Not that you're counting.
I want to get that first. I think it's 22. Something like that. So but no, what will be. And like I said to you before, if you're good enough, and these teams will always kind of be sniffing around.
Yeah. So look, final question. So looking at the Highland League, looking at the kind of younger players coming through Nairn, is there any of them you think could play at a higher level, or kind of say maybe a League 2, League 1 kind of team, or what are you?
Just through Nairn, or
Nairn. Yeah, it's just because you're playing directly with them, so it's just you'd have more of a kind of.
There's a boy. We've got a boy, Kieran Young, who, he has, shown glimpses of what he can do coming off the bench and even starting games, and he's a goal scorer. But I think Sharpie's tried to drill it into him. Even Gethins has tried to drill it into him. Gethins, I think, even threatened to go through to his house a few weeks ago to drag him at the house and take him for a run. He's just. If he could do that wee bit more to get himself fit, then who knows where he could go, because he's got all the ability. Everyone says that, but the only thing that lets him down is his fitness. And I think nowadays, especially at this level, you need to be fit. Especially with the way that the Highland League's going.
Yeah, so how have you seen it evolve over the years in terms of, it used to be, people were quite stereotypical in terms of you lump it up to big striker, flick it on or stuff. Now it's more kind of fitness wise. In terms of players seem to take it more seriously in terms of their fitness. How have you seen it kind of evolve over?
No, I agree with that as well. In my opinion, I think it's got a lot better. Maybe people, will disagree with that, but I heard that obviously, I think Brecon tried to do everything they could last year to go straight back up. But Sharpie was telling us that Sharpie has drilled us into this a few times that, the league is getting more and more competitive. You boys get fit. You boys need to be on your A game, because he actually kind of used Brecon as an example, saying that I think they took in their own nutritionist and stuff like that, and they do video analysis and all this. And for part time, Highland League level, that's kind of unheard of. In on Sundays and doing recovery sessions and stuff like that. No, I don't think there'll be another club in the Highland League that does that. Maybe I heard Fraserburgh were doing extra stuff and whatnot, but that's maybe the way it's going nowadays. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't think that. I still think Broda are the best footballing side in the league.
Yeah,
in my opinion. I watched the cup final against Bucky. Bucky are obviously a good side as well, but I just think that I thought Broda, deserved to win it. And I don't know if you were there or not, but they actually tried to play football. And, they've not changed throughout all the years that I've kind of watched them or, played with them and stuff like that. I think that's what they'll do for forever. But yeah, no, there's like I say, there's a lot of good teams in the league now, and especially with Banks of D coming in, I'll be interested to see how they get on next year as well, because even in Aberdeenshire Cups and stuff like that, they've beat your big teams in the Highland League. So, it's like I said to you, it's going to be a competitive year.
Yeah, who are you tipping to win the league? Who do you think is going to win the league?
Oh, that's a tough one.
I'm probably going for, I would say Fraserburgh. I think Fraserburgh will win it again, to be honest.
Why?
I just think they've got the mentality in terms of I saw them play against Huntly, and they won 2-1. And Fraserburgh were shit in that game. They were awful, but they somehow grinded it out. I just feel like that's kind of what you need to do in terms of when. I mean, it might be kind of everyone says that, but you need that. It's the same as Brora at times used to be good at that, or they used to just batter teams. It's just, I would say, Fraserburgh.
Do you know what? I really do think that this year is going to be closer than ever. Brora. I still see Brora up there. I still obviously they're Backy are going to be up there. They've signed, I think, about 12 boys, but like Backy are going to be good. Locals are always strong. Obviously, I know they lost, Neil Gall, Kieran Shanks. I think Banks D will maybe be up there for Martin. Maybe it's going to be so tight, and that's me named 6 teams. So that's the top 6, and hopefully we can keep it there. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't think I can pick a winner because I think this is going to be a close season. Yeah.
So in terms of obviously you went. Did you get to play against Brecon last season or not? Did you play in any of the games? Yeah. So what was your kind of assessment of them as a team? What did you make of them?
Physical.
Yeah.
Very physical. Best player for me was probably the wee Ukrainian boy.
Oh yeah, the guy from St Johnstone, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think he went to Caley as well. So
yeah, he went to Caley. Yeah.
But yeah, I still think Brora are a better footballing side than them. But it's Brecon are a good physical team, and especially obviously at Glebe Park, and that they make it hard for you. It's a hard place to go, and I'm hearing the away changing rooms are how do you put it? I think they could do with a wee refurb. I'm hearing so. That's maybe maybe a game plan from them, but yeah, no, it's they're a good physical side, and like I say, I'm sure they'll be up there this season as well.
Yeah. One final question: what do you make of the whole situation with Fort William? Obviously, it looks like they'll be in the Caledonian League next season. You played for them. What do you make of all of that kind of happening?
There's so many rumours floating about, and I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they'd ever get back into the Island League, because obviously you've got your Golspie Sutherland, you've got your Invergordon and North Caley, and even obviously I think you'll have the winner off the North Caley against is it the Midland?
Yeah,
right?
Midland, yeah, the Dundee League, I think.
I just think that Fort William are, if they do go into the North Caledonian League, then they'll struggle to get out of it. That's just the way it's gone with them. And
for listening to the Highway League podcast. Hope you can join me next time for another interesting interview.